Right. Hello, everyone. I hope you are fine. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to my account. Right. It's Ronald here. Um, in today's video, I'm going to explain this topic, depreciation. Then the source. As usual, the source that we use here is Ronald's Financial Accounting textbook. So for those that are new to this account, this is the source that we use. Right. Ndichiri papo, I just want to thank you guys. Tine testimony from June exams. Kune vakanyora muna June tinoti makorokoto. Ndanga ndichifara inini ndichiona vanhu vachiuya kuinbox vachiti seroona kuti thank you very much nebhuku renyu takarishandisa for June exams and rakatibatsira, uyezve vamwe vaitaura kuti thank you very much seroona kuti nepamusana pemavideos amunouploada kuyoutube akatibatsira. So noti makorokoto kune vakanyora muna June. Then kune vari kunyora November this year 2026, I encourage you guys to revisit each and every day. You need to visit my YouTube. Ndani matopic ati one day ndaka-uploada mavideos acho echiexplainer. So instead of you scrolling kunana Facebook, instead of you scrolling kunana TikTok, why can't you just take this opportunity yekuti by short period yasara iyoyo up until utange kunyora, why can't you sacrifice and go to to my YouTube account and follow all the videos that are there for several topics? So please, you need to take this opportunity. It's something for free, so you need to take this opportunity to do that. Then kuna arikuda ma textbook riripo, it's now back also in stock anga kambopera, but now they are now back in stock. So this textbook, guys, already ran my testimony at one day. So I encourage you guys to purchase this textbook, especially if you are my follower. Why? Because once you purchase this book, we will be 100% on the same page, because everything that I explain here is from this textbook. So this is our source. I encourage you to come and purchase. It's only $45 or 950 rands. Right. Right. So under this topic, these are the objectives. Takati susu, it is very, very important to write down or to know the topic objectives before you do that topic. Izvozvo zvinokubatsira because you are going to read exactly what you are going to be asked in exam. Because what they do, examiners, when they set your paper, they just take questions from these objectives. So for you, by you doing these objectives, it means you are making sure kuti hapana anything chawasiya about that topic. So as usual, when you do your topic, you need to firstly do the theory before you do the practical. Tine dambudziko hombe nevana veaccounts vekuti they just want to do the practical part, they don't want to do the theory. And izvozvo ndo zvinoita kuti mastudent mazhinji azofoira paper 1, because paper 1 is more like theory than practical. So you notice with most of the students, they get my 10, they get my 8 paper 1. Why? Because their main focus is on paper 2. Their main focus is on practical part. Yet they are forgetting kuti there is also theory. So what I encourage you guys, for each and every topic, before you do the practical, you need to start with the theory. Right. So these are the objectives. The first thing that you need to do, or that you need to know, is definition of depreciation. What is depreciation? Then secondly, you need to know causes of depreciation, reasons why we charge depreciation, methods of depreciation, factors to be considered when choosing the method of depreciation. Then practical part, you need to be able to prepare the asset account, provision for depreciation account, the disposal account, and the asset register account. Right. So I'm just going to go through this theory part before we move on to the practical. So in this video, I'm going to make maybe 3 videos for this topic. So in this video, I'm going to explain the theory part of this topic. Right. So when it comes to theory, you just need to have notes. You need to read your notes. So kune mwana akangwarira unenge atori nepepa rake, anenge atori nebhuku rake, jota bhuku rake, achitonyora manotes. As I'm explaining, iwe uchitonyora chinyi? Manotes. Ndizvo zvinoita mwana akangwarira. So that unogara uine something, unogara uine manotes ako. Right. So definition of depreciation, right? Tine vana vekuti isusu, now I'm form 4, now I'm form 6. Obva abvunzwa what is depreciation? Anongoti depreciation is the fall in value of fixed asset. Atopedza. Yes, that's a good definition of depreciation, but it's shallow kune mwana ari form 6. It's shallow kune mwana ari form 4. Right? For you to get your 2 marks, if you see a question saying define depreciation, depreciation is the spreading of cost of a non-current asset for its economic whole life. That's how we define depreciation. That's how you need to define depreciation as a form 4 learner, as a form 6 learner. So depreciation, it is the fall in value, or it is the spreading of cost of a non-current asset to its economic whole life. But you can zvakuomera, yes, you can write it is the fall in value of a non-current asset. And then you get your 1 mark. Right, then causes of depreciation. Ndo futi pamwe pane dambudziko apo. Mastudent mazhinji anonzi akanzi causes of depreciation anobva ati wear and tear. And those are not causes, those are examples of causes. Hence, you are going to see that most of you fail this question. You're going to causes of depreciation. Because the moment you wear and tear, you get 0. The examiner, markers, they are not going to award you any mark for that. Why? Because those are examples. So you need to know causes of depreciation. Number 1, we have physical factors. That's a cause. Examples of physical factors, we have wear and tear. So if you write wear and tear without the cause, you are not going to get a mark. So I find a business start over state and explain 2 methods of production. You are going to explain without stating, you get 0. Right. So cause of depreciation, we have physical factors, e.g. wear and tear. We have economic factors, e.g. obsolete. We have time factor, e.g. outdated. Then depletion. Those are causes of depreciation. So you work as cause of depreciation: physical factor, time factor, economic factor, and depletion. Those are causes of depreciation. Then, reason why we charge depreciation. Number 1, the reason why we charge depreciation is for us to go in line with prudence concept. Takatenderana pano kuti whenever you use accounting principles to support or to answer any question in theory, you need to know kuti if you just say to go in line with prudence concept, full stop, you are not going to get your mark. Inoti chinyi prudence concept yacho? Pese paunoshandisa accounting principles to answer theory questions ku accounts, chibva explainer zvinotaura accounting principle yacho, so that tinatse kuona ukoshiwa where the policy yauri kumenshena in relation nezvauri kutaura. Right. So the reason why we charge depreciation, number 1, to go in line with the prudence concept, which says it is better to understate profits than to overstate what? Profits. Right. Then number 2, we charge depreciation for us to reflect the true value of a non-current asset by the year end of our financial year. Number 3, we charge depreciation to go in line with matching concept, which says the revenue of an asset must be written off against the expense of what? Of the asset. In other words, matching concept is just there to make sure that all revenue must be written off against expenses of the same financial what year, right? Then also, so by charging depreciation, we are matching expense ne revenue ye asset, right? Then another reason why we charge depreciation is for us to prepare for asset replacement, right? So those are major reasons why we charge depreciation, right? Then methods of depreciation, right? So main methods of depreciation that we have straight line method, which is the same as cost method. We have reducing balance method, which is the same as diminishing method. So for each and every method, you need to be able to explain the advantages and disadvantages. Like for straight line method, remember straight line method, it charge same year, same depreciation amount for each and every year. Hence, straight line method, it gives more value of depreciation amount than reducing balance method. Hence, straight line method is the one that goes in line with the prudence concept. Because remember, the issue of prudence concept, we don't want to overstate our profits. So the more depreciation value is more using straight line method, it means that's also how we are going to understate our profits. So the advantage of straight line method is it goes in line with prudence concept, right? Then disadvantage of straight line, and also advantage, it is easy for straight line method, but disadvantage for straight line method, it might not be suitable for other non-current assets. EOE straight line method, right? Then for reducing balance method, disadvantage, it is difficult to calculate, right? Then advantage, you are going to see that straight line method, reducing balance method, is suitable for most of the assets, right? No advantage here, reducing balance method. Then factors to be considered when choosing the method of depreciation, right? So through this also we have straight line method, we have reducing balance method. So as a firm, as a company, how are you going to select the highest action for reducing balance or the action for straight line method? I think we'll choose. There are some factors that we need to consider before we choose the method of depreciation. So factor number one is the type of the asset. Type A asset, is it furniture? Is it a vehicle? Is it a building? So the type of the asset will determine the method of depreciation to use. Number two, the use of the asset also will determine the method of depreciation. So the type of the asset, the use of the asset, the cost of the asset, right? Cost of the asset, right? So number four, policies of the company or of the business, right? Policy also will determine the method of depreciation to be used. So those are major methods. Those are what factors to be considered when choosing the method of depreciation, and also the lifespan of the asset will also determine the method to be used. So in general, in summary, that's the theory that you need to know under depreciation. So that all pays up. So I hope you are making my notes. Right. In our next video, ndakwenda ko explainer asset account, provision for depreciation account,